All right, Shalom. This is Hara One by Nyasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp. I want to say Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Harakak Wadash, Ma'amaf. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and the elders. Shalom to you, Akim and Akwatim, and children that believe in sincerity and truth around the four corners of the earth. It's going to be a quick lesson on my spirit, dealing with the third temple and how that you have these Khazars in our land, and they're planning to build a third temple. All right. In which we know the first temple built by King Solomon by the orders of Yahweh, around 966 BC. And that first temple fell in 586. Right? It was rebuilt in 516, completed under the Persians, right? After the orders of Cyrus the Great, all the way to Darius the Persian. And then you have the rededication of the temple in 164 BC during the time of the Maccabees. And then you have the fall of our temple, the destruction of our temple again in 70 AD. So there still was no third temple built. All right. So now they're talking about building a third temple. Matter of fact, let me get this real quick. It says here Micah 3:8. But true is actually the point is in verse 12. Therefore shall Zion for your sake be plowed as a field, and Jerusalem shall become heaps, and the mountain of the house as the high places of the forest, man. All right. So our place in Jerusalem became ruined as heaps, and for your sakes it shall be plowed. All right. So today it has become a place of excavation. That's it. All right. They go over there and they dig up the first layer, try to dig down to the first layer into the second layer of the temple, because they after the first temple was destroyed, the second temple, after the orders of King Cyrus and the Persians, it was built on top of the old foundation. But now the Lord speaks of a spiritual house being built. All right, a spiritual temple, which represents the elect of Israel. But these heathens think that the Lord is going to allow them to build a brick and mortar temple where they can do more of their witchcrafts, their abominations, and their unholy practices in that land. Hebrews 3:4, for every house is builded by some man, but he that built all things is Yahweh. All right. And Moses verily was faithful in all his house as a servant for a testimony of things which were to be spoken after. But Yahushai, a son over his own house, whose house are we, if we hold fast the confidence and the rejoicing of the hope firm unto the end. All right, so we are that house that Yahushai is building. And if we have understanding in these scriptures, you know that Solomon, King Solomon, was Yahushai. He's the one that set up to build the house for the Lord, the temple. And we are that temple as long as we believe. All right, so all houses are made by some man, but the Most High made everything. He made it through who? Yahushai, the builder. All right, and that's in the book of Colossians. And also upon this earth, he set up Yahushua to be what? First in all things. Now, that's why he was Adam. He was also Solomon, King Solomon. Acts 17 and 24. Yahweh that made the world and all things therein, seeing that he is Lord of heaven and earth. Right, he got a temple out in the heavens. He dwelleth not in temples made with hands, neither is worship with men's hands, as though he needed anything, seeing he giveth to all life and breath and all things. All right, so they can try to build a temple for him. You can try to build a church like these Christian churches today, but the Lord, his spirit is not in those places. This is Jeremiah 5 and 27. As a cage full of birds, man, because you got a lot of jakes that gather up in these churches. So are their houses full of deceit, man. So all of their temples, everything they build upon this earth, calling it religion, is all full of deceit, meaning this deception. All right, it's full of devilish ways. Therefore, they are become great and waxing rich, man. So that's all it's about, money. They talking about, let me get this article. It says here, the third temple preparations are in full swing. And this goes back to February. But I think just the other day, as I was putting this lesson together, I decided to look up an article, and they still talking about building it. They're talking about building it. Once they build a temple over in Jerusalem, those heathens, they want to build an economy for that temple, meaning the New World Order, meaning it's about money. And they even want to bring back animal sacrifice when the Lord's not dealing with sacrifice. He's dealing with what? 1 Peter 2 and 5, ye also as lively stones are built up a spiritual house and holy priesthood, to offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable to Yahweh by Yahweh Shai. And our spiritual sacrifice is what is our words, right? Prophesying, speaking. That's the sacrifice that the Lord is dealing with. It's only through his son Yahweh Shai, meaning in the spirit of truth. It says here, it's in the third temple. Preparations are in full swing. You know, they got their fake Messiah over there. Damn top witch that they got over there that can understand their whole Talmud, meaning he read it from beginning to end. So that makes him like advanced in witchcraft. That's called a Babylonian Talmud. It's Babylonian. It says somewhat under the radar. So they're doing this under the radar. They're hiding it. A group of religious Jews or Khazars have been eagerly preparing for the day a third temple will stand in Jerusalem. There's not going to be a third temple, you know. It basically be their first temple. During Sukkoth, the Feast of Tabernacles, basically, right? The Khazar priest and Levite, oh my goodness, wearing white robes, draw water from the pool of Siloam in order to perform the traditional pouring of the water. So they're doing all this madness and ceremonies over there. All right, let me get down to this point. Let's go right here. Go here. The Temple Institute sees its role as being to build a house to contain the presence of God. But the Lord said his spirit won't dwell in these houses. These are nothing but harlot houses and deceitful houses built by heathens. Even if they're built by Jakes, like these Christians, Jake build a church over here in America. Are calling themselves Ethiopian Jews. more confusion. You got the school of UPK, all these temples. And IUIC. The Temple Institute sees its role as being to build a house to contain the presence of God when they don't know who God is. What is his name and what is his son's name, if thou canst tell? In other words, a third temple on Mount Moriah. In order to do so, they need education, research, activism, and preparation. Awareness regarding the temple has to be rekindled, and the laws regulating its operation must be retaught. We hope to thereby make our contribution to the process, which will lead to the Holy Temple becoming a reality once again. Rabbi, the Lord said, call no man rabbi, means master. Yisrael Ariel, founder of the Temple Institute, commented. All right, that's what he said. So he's hoping that, bro. This is Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 14. Though they can hope all they want. For the hope of the ungodly is like the dust that is blown away with the wind. Like a thin froth that is driven away with the storm. When the destruction comes, man, judgment day. So all their hopes and their plans going to get blown away. The Lord said he's going to send Russia and these other nations against that land of Israel and against this land, America. And they're going to turn both into a sea of glass, man. Like as the smoke which is dispersed here and there with a tempest, all right, and passeth away as the remembrance of a guest that tarrieth but a day. But the righteous live forevermore. Their reward is with the Lord, man. Even our temple is with Yahweh Shai, because he will be the temple of it. All right. And the care of them is with the Most High, right? We're not going to pray to the temple anymore. We're going to be able to pray towards Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, because Yahweh Shai is going to be in Jerusalem. All right, let me get this. Verse 16, therefore shall they receive a glorious kingdom. See, the kingdom is with Yahweh Shai as well, and we are the kingdom. And a beautiful crown from the Lord's hand, man. So the Lord himself will put a crown on your head. For with his right hand shall he cover them, and with his arm shall he protect them, man. All right, so that's what's coming. Deliverance for the children of Israel. All right, so this is when the first temple was built during the times of King Solomon. Solomon is Yahweh Shai, the one that's put in place the carpenter to build the temple. All right, to the true builder, the chief cornerstone, the architect. 1 Kings 6 and 1, and it came to pass in the 480th year after the children of Israel would come out of the land of Egypt. All right, so in the 480th year, let's get that. All right, so Israel came out of Egypt in 1446. So you'll take away 480. You say 480th year, and you get 966 BC. All right. So now, some scholars say 955, but I truly believe it was 966, like the scriptures say. And he finished it around 959 BC. All right. The building of the temple, because it took 7 years to build the temple. He had to put a lot of detail into it, and he had to do it quick. So this takes you to 966, which matches up with the next part of the scripture. The Bible is accurate. 1 First Kings 6:1, and it came to pass in the 480th year after the children of Israel were come out of the land of Egypt. So around 1446, which takes you 480 years later to 966 BC. And in the 4th year of Solomon's reign over Israel. All right, so the 4th year. So now you get King David. I think he ruled from 1011 BC to 971 when he died. And then he gave the kingdom over to Solomon. And Solomon really started ruling in 970. So 970, you can say 971, he was like co-regent under King David, learning from him. But in 970, he became the ruler over Israel. All right, so it said in the 4th year of Solomon's reign. So you go from 970, take away 4, and you get 966 once again. So the Bible is accurate. All right, 1 Kings 6:1, and it came to pass in the 480th year, after the children of Israel would come out of the land of Egypt, that was 966, in the 4th year of Solomon's reign over Israel, 966 BC. In the month Ziph, which is the 2nd month, that he began to build the house of Yahweh. So in our terms, it'd be around February, March. All right, going into springtime, which is probably almost near the Passover. They called it Ziph because those were Persian names. After our captivity in Persia, they started moving according to the Persian calendar. That's why I get all these weird names for months in the Bible. Those are Persian names for the month. So let me get that real quick. All right, so let's get this. It says Ziph, the month Ziph, or Zawah. It would mean brightness. The name of the 2nd month of the year, corresponding to April and May. So it could be around that time. So a little bit after the February, March, April, May, yeah. So probably around a little bit after the Passover. So it said the month of flowers, man. The springtime. So this is when the Lord's house was being built. It says in the month Ziph, which is the 2nd month, which is around springtime, that he began to build the house of Yahweh. See that? And the house, verse 7, and the house, when it was builded, actually, I'm gonna get down to this point real quick. Let's go here. 1 Kings 6:37. And in the 4th year, 966 BC, was the foundation of the house of Yahweh laid in the month Ziph. And in the 11th year, in the month Bull, which is the 8th month. All right, so, oh wait, let me get this. All right, so the month Bull means Bawala or Bawala. It means the increased produce, October or November, which would be like this. You have like 2 harvests throughout the year, one in the springtime and one around October, around the fall. All right, so, all right, it said in the 11th year now. So, but we know according to scripture that in the same verse that it took 7 years for Solomon to finish the temple. But it was fully completed in the 11th year, all right? So that was around 950, let me see, hold up, 966. You take away 7. So it was around 955 he was done, with the temple. But then you had probably minor touch-ups, details that had to be put in place. And it was really completed in the 11th year. So that would be 966, take away 11, and it'll take you to 955. That's why I tell some people, you heard me teaching past lessons that it was around 955 BC, because that's when the temple was completed. But when did he start? 966. All right. So some scholars will mix it up. You'll see them say 955, and some will say 966. But if you understand, it means that's how long it took. Right? Even though the scriptures say 7 years, but he had minor details and touch-ups that took him a few more years to complete. 4 more years. Now, 1 Kings 6 and 38, and in the 11th year, in the month Bull, which is the 8th month, so around October or November, was the house finished throughout all the parts thereof, and according to all the fashion of it. So was he 7 years in building it, man. So he was building it for 7 years, and he had to finish all the parts thereof throughout the house and details. It took him about 11 years. So let's get up to this point. But this is the special part of the scripture. 1 Kings 6 and 7. And the house, see, the house, when it was in building, was built of stone made ready. Just like us, we're built, we're the stones that's being made ready. According to Revelation 21, New Jerusalem, the bride that's being prepared. All right, so it's built of stones made ready before it was brought thither. So we're not going to be built in the land. We're built up outside of the land. Same way Solomon built the house. It's the same way Yahweh Shai is building the house for Yahweh. He's not going to build it up in that land. It's not going to be a temple there and then Yahweh Shai is going to show up to it. No. The Lord is building Israel where we were scattered all over the earth. And there you can hear neither hammer and you don't hear nails. No construction site where you can find us being built. This is a spiritual construction, a spiritual edification, a spiritual building of the house. And the house, when it was in building, was built of stone made ready before it was brought thither, so that there was neither hammer nor axe, nor any tool of iron heard in the house while it was in building, man. So just like right now, while the house is being built, you're not going to hear hammers or nails or axes. But that's what they're claiming over in the land, that they're going to build a house in that way. So that's another house of deceit. But the house that's being built for Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai is being built by the spirit of truth. And not being built with untempered mortar, with foolishness and wickedness. All right? That's what their houses are being built with, untempered mortar. False doctrine. Deceit. All right, and this is the prophet Ezra, Second Ezra chapter 10, where he was speaking to the angel Uriel, or War Allah in the Hebrew. Angel sent to enlighten Israel and give him answers that the Most High allowed him to give, especially pertaining to these last days and judgments to come and the current events that Ezra was witnessing and going through. Well, he was living out the prophecy of the house being rebuilt that got destroyed in 586 BC after Solomon built it. Well, Ezra was there as part of the governance of that house, the tabernacle being rebuilt physically in the land, the second temple. All right, so it says this: but the angel showed him a vision of a house being prepared where no building was, man. It's just going to appear upon the earth like the dew in the morning. You walk out there at nighttime, you don't see it, but you go out in the morning, you see water and dew morning dew all over the grass. It just appeared out of nowhere. Accumulated by a process that happens in the night, just like us, until the morning. 2nd Ezra 10 and 27. And I looked and behold, actually no, there's more I want to get. Yeah, I'll just read from here. Somebody want to get into it, you can read chapter 10. And it'll tell you about a woman that Ezra saw, and she lost her son, and her son represents Jerusalem. All right? And the woman would be Zion. And Zion represents Israel and Judah together. Today is spiritual, representing the elect of Israel and Judah. Israel, the elect of the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom. All right, that's Zion, the government of Israel. 2nd Ezra 10 and 27. All right. And I looked, and behold, the woman appeared unto me no more. See that? So I kind of want to go through this whole chapter, but I'm not. But there was a city builded, man. So he was out in the field, and there was no building there. It was just an empty field where Ezra was fasting and praying, and the Most High would show him visions so it could be written. But now he didn't see this woman. He saw this woman standing there, and she was beautiful. Then out of nowhere, she just turned into an abomination. She was crying and all this shit, looking sad. That was us being destroyed in the destruction of Israel. All right, in 586. But now out of nowhere, the woman disappeared, and there's a city being built, and that represents us today. And I looked, and behold, the woman appeared unto me no more. But there was a city builded, and a large place showed itself from the foundations, man. Then was I afraid, so that represents the kingdom, and cried with a loud voice and said, Where is Uriel, the angel who came unto me at first? For he have caused me to fall into many trances, and mine end is turned into corruption, and my prayer rebuked. And as I was speaking these words, behold, he came unto me and looked upon me. Can you imagine an angel standing in front of you and staring at you? So that's what Uriel did. He popped up and just was staring at him. And lo, I lay as one that had been dead, and mine understanding was taken from me. And he took me by the right hand and comforted me and set me upon my feet and said unto me, well, he started basically breaking things down for him a little more. Let's get to the point. And he, verse 39, he have seen, 38, and he answered me and said, Hear me, and I shall inform thee and tell thee wherefore thou art afraid. For the highest will reveal, the Most High Yahweh will reveal many secret things unto thee. He hath seen that thy way is right, for that thou sorrowest continually for thy people, and makest great lamentation for Zion. This therefore is the meaning of the vision which thou lately sawest. Thou sawest a woman mourning, and thou beganest to comfort her. But now seest thou the likeness of the woman no more. But there appeared unto thee a city builded, all right, because that woman, which was our land or our nation, together got destroyed. And then we lost our people. You know, the high priest, the righteous men, the prophets. But it says here, but now, verse 42, but now seest thou the likeness of the woman no more, but there appeared unto thee a city builded, man. And we represent that city that's being builded. All right. At this time, he was talking about The house that was completed and the walls were being built during the time of Nehemiah around 445 BC. And with Ezra becoming an elder around 452, and he was witnessing the rebuilding of the second temple, but that was going to be destroyed too in 70 AD. So the Lord spiritually is truly talking about the third temple. All right. And whereas she told thee of the death of her son, this is the solution. So this is the breakdown. This woman whom thou sawest was Zion. See, Zion represents the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. And whereas she said unto thee, even she whom thou seest as the city builded, see, the same person, northern kingdom and southern kingdom, we being built, but just in a different way. All right, prepare for a new covenant. Whereas I say, she said unto thee that she have been 30 years barren. All right, so it was from the time of King David. The Most High told King David that he was going to build a house. It was barren, meaning we didn't have a house, a temple to worship in or towards for 30 years until King Solomon started building. Those are the 30 years wherein there was no offering made in her. See that? But after 30 years, Solomon builded the city. See that? So during the time of King David, we had no place to offer. But through Solomon, that's where that temple was built. All right. But after 30 years, Solomon builded the city and offered offerings, and then bare the barren a son. All right. So, and that son is through Solomon ruling over Jerusalem. And whereas she told thee that she nourished him with labor, that was the dwelling in Jerusalem. But whereas she said unto thee that my son coming into his marriage chamber, is that how you know that? That's how you know this son coming into his marriage chamber represents Yahushua, or who you would call Solomon. It says that it happened to have failed and died. This was the destruction that came to Jerusalem. All right. So, what you would call Jerusalem, the old Jerusalem, was destroyed. That was the destruction. They say Jerusalem is the mother of us all. So in this sense, Zion would be the mother, and the son, starting with Solomon, and then the rest of the southern kingdom would represent Jerusalem at that time. All right, so it became what? Destroyed. So that's why the woman was crying. And behold, thou sawest her likeness, and because she mourned for her son, for Jerusalem, thou beganest to comfort her. And of these things which have chanced, these are to be opened unto thee. For now the Most High seeth that thou art grieved unfeignedly, and sufferest from thy whole heart for her. So hath he showed thee the brightness of her glory. So the Lord, since he seen that Ezra was suffering and stressed out from what he was seeing happen to the Israelites, the Lord showed him the glory that was going to be coming to Israel, the kingdom. And the comeliness of her beauty represents her righteousness, that we were going to be righteous. And therefore I bade thee remain in the field, and in this sense the field is the world, where no house was builded, man. So there's no house upon this earth that you can build to the Lord. But there is where the Lord is going to build his city, scattered around the world, where you're not going to hear hammers and nails. It's going to be men prophesying and speaking, spiritual. All right? Where no foundation of any building was. So that's where, for in the place wherein the Most High beginneth to show his city. So he's beginning to show his city now around the world. The elect of Israel, the hopeful elect. There can no man's building be able to stand, man. So I ain't gonna have no school at UPK, no Baptist church, no third temple built. Talking about starting an economy and all this madness. And therefore fear not. Let not thine heart be afraid, but go thy way in and see the beauty and greatness of the building, as much as thine eyes be able to see. So he told him it was like a virtual reality almost, man. That's why it scared him, because he saw this woman crying in the field, a beautiful woman, and then out of nowhere she just turned dark and destroyed. It was crying over her son. The son representing Jerusalem after Solomon, how beautiful it was set up, and I got destroyed. But now, out of nowhere, a giant building was standing in front of Esdras, which represented us being glorified. This building was a physical building, and he saw it being built up. But it represented us. All right, he actually told him to walk into it and see. So he was looking around like, whoa. Right, because this house is spiritual, man. Where there was no house builded around the world, there is where the Lord's going to build his house, his tabernacle. Rebuilding is representing edification, building us up in the spirit. All right, not made with hands, not going to be under taxes and under ruled by heathens. All right, and it's not going to be physical to where you build it over there in Jerusalem with Netanyahu and them ruling. That ain't going to happen. You know, if it does happen, it's not righteous. It doesn't represent the kingdom. The scriptures say when the children of Israel are back in their land, the world shall study war no more. All right. And you got them heathens in that land, I think since what, 1948? Khazars. And the world is definitely studying war. They're actually getting more advanced in war. So the children of Israel, as a whole, as the elect, are not in that land. We're being built up around the world. And you're not going to hear hammer and nails while we're being built. 1 Peter 2:4. To whom coming as unto a lively stone, disallowed indeed of men, but chosen of Yahweh, right? They disallowed Yahushua. They turned it back on him. But he was chosen of Yahweh and precious, all right? It says, ye also as lively stones. See, we're being hardened. We're being prepared. We're being mixed and stirred up. And we're being rejected by this world. We're being what? So a lively stone, living stones, man, that's what we are. They say I can even make the stones cry out and worship him. But he did it. You know, we got us worship him. And we're the stones that's being prepared outside of Jerusalem today. We're being prepared around the four corners of the earth, the same way King Solomon did. All right, so we're those living stones, meaning being drawn from the waters, drawn from the people, drawn out of the congregation of the dead and being brought to life by the spirit of truth, by the spirit of life from Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. And with the stones represent the building of the house. And Yahushua is the chief cornerstone. disallowed indeed of men, but chosen of Yahweh, and precious, meaning the elect. Ye also, as lively stones, are built up a spiritual house. See, that's the point. We're being built up as a spiritual house. It's not physical. But these heathens, of course, they're going to go carnal and say, yeah, we're building it. And we got a Messiah too. We're being built up a spiritual house and holy priesthood to offer up spiritual sacrifices. So they're talking about bringing back animal sacrifice, and we don't need to do that. The Lord not dealing with that. In the kingdom he will, but not right now. We're not in the kingdom. Acceptable to Yahweh by Yahweh Shai. So this type of sacrifice is acceptable to Yahweh by Yahweh Shai, the high priest, when he offers up sacrifice for our sins. And that sacrifice today was him going on the cross, being crucified, and also the sacrifice that we offer today, which is going out and prophesying in the spirit of truth. Wherefore also it is contained in the scripture, behold, I lay in Zion a chief cornerstone, elect, precious, and he that believeth on him shall not be confounded. Unto you, therefore, which believe he is precious. So unto us he's precious, but not to the world. But unto them which be disobedient, the stone which the builders disallowed, the same is made the head of the corner, man. Whew, the top stone. And a stone of stumbling. So also he set up for a stumbling block to 2/3 of our people. And a rock of offense, even to them which stumble at the word. So if you stumble over the scriptures and you teach false doctrine, that same stone that was disallowed is the same stone that's going to grind these people up. All right. Being disobedient, that's why they stumble at the word. Whereunto also they were appointed. So you got to be appointed to believe, and you got to be appointed, predestinated to be disobedient. So if they're being disobedient today, like these false camps, false teachers, these heathens, they were predestined to that path. But if you believe today in sincerity and truth, you were predestined to be in the spirit that you're in. All right. Whereunto also they were appointed, but ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who have called you out of the darkness into the marvelous light, which in time past were not a people, but now the people of Yahweh, which have not obtained mercy, but now have obtained mercy, man. So what? Let me get that. That's right, man. So in the place where it was said we were not his people, there's going to be said we are his people. So that's around the four corners of the earth, wherever we're scattered. Not in that land. We got people over there, but it's not about that land right now. It's not about no brick and mortar temple. It's about the spiritual house being built and then brought back into that land. Just like when King Solomon built the temple, he had the stones prepared outside of the city so it'd be quiet in that land. And then he'll bring those stones into the city, or into that land, and begin to show forth the, put everything in place in the land. So we're going to be built, prepared, and then we're going to be put into our place in that land. So if you're a Judite, you're going to be given into the land of Judah. You can be put in a certain ranking. All right, so on and so on. That's what represents the 12 gates. All right, so Ephesians 2:19. Now, therefore, ye are no more strangers and foreigners. See, we got cast away. We became strangers, meaning Gentiles. All right, foreigners, I mean. And strangers, meaning aliens from the commonwealth of Israel. But We're no longer that. We're no longer foreigners because you're in this truth, but fellow citizens. And what's that? The city. All right, the city, New Jerusalem. A city is not a city without citizens. But fellow citizens with the saints and of the household of Yahweh. So he's building his house, man. The Most High is building his house. The Most High is the Spirit, and those that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. He's building his spiritual house up. That's a secure foundation to be manifest into the flesh. And are built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets. Yahushua himself being the chief cornerstone, the first stone, man. The first one that's built up. In whom all the building, see, we're a building. In the end, once that number is complete, 144,000 and the 1/3. The rest of the 1/3. In whom all the building fitly framed together, meaning perfectly put together, groweth unto a holy temple in the Lord. So we're growing and becoming the temple of Yahweh by Shem Yahushua. Ain't that something? Not like they're saying, but like the Lord said, we're going to be built up. And we're being built into a holy, meaning set apart temple in Yahushua, in whom ye also are builded together for an habitation of Yahweh through the Spirit, man. A place for his Spirit to dwell in vessels. He has a hiding place for wisdom, and it's us. All right. This is a promise that Yahweh made to Yahushua. Psalms 110:3, thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power. So when Yahushua returns and he's glorified, he's already glorified, but he shows his glory on this earth. It said thy people shall be willing, meaning we're gonna be ready by that time. All right, and have power. And the beauties of holiness from the womb of the morning, meaning from the beginning of the kingdom. So once Yahushua begins to usher in his kingdom, thou hast the dew of thy youth, man. And the youth meaning his new beginning from his kingdom, like Solomon. So from Yahushua's first taking over of this place, which will be his youth, the beginning again, from the womb of the morning, so the beginning of the morning, beginning of the kingdom, thou shalt have the dew of thy youth. The dew represents the morning dew, even though you don't see it there at night or during the day. But then in the morning, out of nowhere, it's there, sitting on the grass, waiting. That's how the elect are going to be upon the earth. When Yahushua looks for his elect, they're going to be there to gather up. And Yahweh promised him that. All right, so he promised Yahushua that those stones, or the dew, was going to be there in the morning, so that Yahushua could gather them up, his jewels, his stones, and he could take them to that land and set them in their place. But the stones are going to be prepared outside of Jerusalem, and that's us. 2 Ezra 7:26, behold, the time shall come that these tokens or prophecies which I have told thee shall come to pass. And the bride shall appear, man. Just like the dew in the morning. So that the elect of Israel are going to appear, man. He said, then shall it be known who are my chosen. And we've already appeared, but we are of the hopeful elect right now. But in that day when the Lord chooses you, you're going to have spiritual power, man. And full understanding. And the bride shall appear, and she coming forth shall be seen that now is withdrawn from the earth. All right, so we discontinue from our heritage. And right now, you see, we don't have an actual temple, but someday they're going to see that we are the temple of the Lord. He said, ye are his temple, right? 1 Corinthians 3:6, know ye not that ye are the temple of Yahweh, and that the Spirit of Yahweh dwelleth in you. If any man defile the temple of Yahweh, him shall Yahweh destroy. For the temple of Yahweh is holy, which temple ye are. See that? So we are his temple. You know? And that's just it, man. So that's why we live according to the laws to the best of our ability. And we keep our house clean through the doctrine. I'm going to read this fast, Romans 9:25. And he saith also in Isaiah, or Oseh, which would mean, let me see. Right, so Oseh would be Hosea. And he saith also in Hosea, I will call them my people, which were not my people, and her beloved, which was not beloved. And it shall come to pass that in all the places where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there shall they be called the children of the living power. So wherever we were scattered at, that's where they're going to say, oh, that's the child of God right there. The child of Yahweh. All right. Isaiah also crieth concerning Israel. Though the number of the children of Israel be as the sand of the sea, a remnant shall be saved. That's the elect. For he will finish the work and cut it short in righteousness. So it's the work, the building. Because a short work will the Lord make upon the earth. Just like King Solomon, he did everything quickly. He built the temple of the Lord in 7 years. But when it came to his own house, it took him about 13 years. When he had more leisure time. Just like in the kingdom, Yahweh Shai is going to have more leisure time to build up Israel. 1,000 years he's going to reign. But right now he's building us up quick since the 1960s or 70s until now. There's a quick building process happening where he's building us through the Spirit, building up the elect of Israel, the first resurrection. And then the kingdom, he's going to build up the rest of Israel, you know, the 2/3 that come back into the earth, and the kingdom upon this earth. It's going to take 1,000 years to put that together. All right. So it's the same thing happening now. He's going to have more leisure time when he's in the kingdom, Yahweh Shai. And he's going to be ordered and directed by Yahweh on what to do next. All right, Amos 9:11. In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen. So the Lord is raising up the house of David, the house of love, meaning people that are in that same spirit of King David. All right, and King David had everything together. He had the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, just like King Solomon. But then we fell after that. So that's being rebuilt, brought back together, according to Isaiah chapter 11. All right. And close up the breaches thereof. I mean, if you're not of the elect, they're not going to be able to get into that circle. All right. The breaches represent the defenses of the wall that might have been breached. And I will raise up his ruins. So everything that was ruined about us, the Lord is raising up. And I will build it as in the days of old, man. So we're being built. That they may possess the remnant of Edom. So we're going to take all Edom's possessions that they own right now, even that land. And of all the heathen, which are called by my name, saith Yahweh that doeth this. So Yahweh, meaning he called them heathens. So if they got any issues, they got to take it up with him. All right. So we're gonna possess, meaning control or own that land of Israel and those heathens that snuck into our land. Zechariah 9:6, and a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, and I will cut off the pride of the Philistines. And today, Philistine is the word Palestine. All right, Ashdod, that's over there near the Gaza Strip, if I'm not mistaken, or Israel. All right, so the Lord said a bastard, a fatherless child is going to dwell there. And that's those heathens. You see that? And the Lord's going to cut them all off their pride. This is Job 5:12. He disappointeth the devices of the crafty. Devices meaning imaginations. So that their hands cannot perform their enterprise, man. You see that? So the Lord's going to cut them off. Get their hopes up, and he's going to shut them down. That their hands, meaning their power, through their power, they're not going to be able to perform what they're trying to build up. This is 1 Corinthians 15:22. For as in Adam all die, even so in Yahushua shall all be made alive. All right, so through Adam we died, which was the first Adam, Yahushua. But through the second Adam from heaven, we shall all live, the elect of all the children of Israel. But every man in his order, his own order, the chief cornerstone first. Yahushua, the first fruits. Afterward, they that are Yahushua's at his coming. See that? So first Yahushua was exalted. Next, the first fruits are going to be exalted when Yahushua shows up, the dew of the morning. Then cometh the end, when he shall have delivered up the kingdom to Yahweh. Where have you heard that before? That's what Yahushua did. I mean, that was Solomon did. He built the kingdom, built the stones, prepared them before he brought them into the land. So it was quiet in the land. And then he put the stones in place. And then he dedicated that house, that was called the dedication of the temple, to Yahweh. Then you had the rededication during the time of 164 BC with the Maccabees. Then you had another rededication that's coming up now. And you had another dedication. I forgot about the second temple. All right. Which was really around 536 when we built the altar. In 535, we started rebuilding the foundation. You know, in 516, the house and the foundation was complete during the time of Darius the Persian. Then you get the walls that were complete during 445 BC, during the time of Nehemiah. So it was rededicated. It was dedicated once during Solomon, twice during the rededication of the temple, which we call Hanukkah. And then you have in these times now, to where this right here is going to happen. Then cometh the end, verse 24, when he shall, talking about Yahushua, who was also Solomon, he shall have delivered up the kingdom to Yahweh. See? Even the Father, when he shall have put down all rule and all authority and power. So, for he must reign till he have put all enemies under his feet. So that's that 1,000-year reign. And Yahushua is going to put all the enemies under his feet. And the scriptures say that the elect are going to reign with him for that 1,000 years. That's the first fruits to usher in the kingdom. And after that, we won't be tyrannical. We'll be able to sit down and enjoy the fruits of our labors. Like, really enjoy it. And Esau, the burden, he'll be off the earth. 1,000 years. For Yahushua will reign till he have put all enemies under his feet. All right. So even 2/3 of our people are going to be brought back, and they're going to be made righteous in the kingdom. And they were enemies to the Lord. And the last enemy that shall be destroyed is death, meaning there's going to be no more death in Israel. So that's what he's saying. When he had brought back all the 2/3 that die off and this coming destruction, they're going to be brought back within that 1,000 years. And he's going to complete the process of perfecting the house of Yahweh, which is the children of Israel, Zion, bringing both nations back together, making us one in the spirit of truth, perfecting us, making us righteous, which will ultimately take away death, okay, from our nation. He said, all Israel shall be saved, but after the elect. He said, all shall know him in the kingdom. Meaning when your child is born in the kingdom, they're going to be able to look right at Yahweh Shai. You're going to be able to teach your child about Yahweh Shai instead of Donald Trump and fucking Biden. Our children know who they are today. The presidents and shit. You know, even though we rebuke them, be like, hey, this damn wicked ass president ruling. And he'd be like, who's that? And it was Biden. But in the kingdom, you're going to say, our righteous king is ruling. Who's that? Yahweh Shai is right there. You know, so they're going to know from birth who Yahweh Shai is. And they're going to know the truth in the kingdom. So all Israel shall be saved through that process. First the elect, and then in the kingdom, the 2/3 will be brought back. Thus the Lord will what? The last enemy that he shall destroy is death. For he hath put all things under his feet. But when he saith all things are put under him, it is manifest that he is accepted, which did put all things under him. And when all things shall be subdued unto him, then shall the Son also himself be subject unto him that put all things under him, that Yahweh may be all in all, man. I mean, it's going to be complete. Finally, the temple's going to be built spiritually, put in place, perfected, and Yahweh Shai, Solomon, is going to dedicate that temple to Yahweh, making the whole connection complete again, or complete. All right. So I ended with this, Revelation 21:1. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, a new rulership, and a new hell upon earth. It's going to be for these heathens and Esau, and the rulership is going to be for the Israelites. All right. For the righteous. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. Was that it? The end of the world is Esau, and the beginning of it is Jacob that follows. All right. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, see, coming down from Yahweh out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband, man. So the same way the stones were prepared outside of the temple, we're being prepared outside of our land. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of Yahweh is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and Yahweh himself shall be with them and be their power. And Yahweh shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death. See, they're going to conquer death through making us righteous. Because the wages of sin is what? Death. So we're not going to die if we're righteous. Neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away, man. So this is hell for us right now. But that time is coming where it's going to be passed away. Verse 9, and there came unto me one of the 7 angels, which had the 7 vials, full of the 7 last plagues, and talked with me, saying, come hither, and I will show thee the bride, the Lamb's wife. All right, so it said the bride was being prepared, which is also what? The Lamb's wife. So is it talking about a physical woman? No. The Lord said, I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman. All right. So the son, the daughter of Zion represents Israel. Israelites. And he carried me away in the spirit, see, spiritual, to a great high mountain and showed me the great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from Yahweh. So this is that same building that Ezra saw, but this time it wasn't a physical building, it was a people. Before it's a place. The holy city, man, all right, of citizens, having the glory of Yahweh, being glorified from Yahweh, and her light was like unto a stone most precious. So our light is going to be just like Yahweh's. Even like a jasper stone, clear as crystal, just representing the spirit of truth and wisdom that's going to be upon the elect. It's going to be pure and plain and clear in that day. We're going to have full wisdom. And had a wall great and high, meaning protection, and had 12 gates, and that's for the 12 tribes of Israel, not for any other nation. And the gates, 12 angels, and the names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of Israel. All right, there you go. So that's the bride. All right. So let's get here. Verse 21. And the 12 gates were 12 pearls. Every several gate was of one pearl, meaning one tribe. And the street of the city was pure gold, man, as it were transparent gold. And I saw no temple therein. So this is physical now. There's not going to be any temple. We ain't going to need it for us to turn and worship towards, you know. And I saw no temple therein. We're going to have an altar for Yahweh, power almighty, and the Lamb are the temple of it. So we're not going to need a physical temple. The Lord is building us up to be the temple. And Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua is going to dwell with us in the kingdom, in his kingdom, in that land. And he's going to be our temple, our protection, our place of worship. All right. And the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon to shine in it. For the glory of Yahweh did lighten it. So it's going to be glorified and brilliant. And we're going to have the truth. So there's not going to be a need for anybody to teach each other anymore. You know? You're going to be able to teach the children, tell stories. But we're not going to be out prophesying anymore. Because the Lord is going to give us full wisdom. And the Lamb is the light thereof, see? And the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it. So about the children of Israel, the elect. Shall walk and live in righteousness, man, upon this earth. And the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor into it, man. So these are other nations. They're going to bring everything to us. That's why I said we're going to suck the milk of the Gentiles, meaning they're going to give us everything like you would give to a baby freely. We're not going to have to take it from them. They're going to be in that much fear. And the gates of it shall not be shut at all by day, for there shall be no night there. Ain't gonna never be a shutdown time, because at nighttime, our people used to shut the gates, and they would bring the camels through a secret gate called a needle gate. That's why I said the eye of a needle. Well, that represented the needle gate, because at nighttime you have intruders, so they would shut the big gates. And they would bring the camels through, but the small doors, which would be called a needle gate. But coming through that needle gate, the camel would have to be lowered, and also the luggage would have to be taken off. That's the same way we have to be entering into the kingdom, humbling ourselves, and also taking the load off of us, man, of this world, and the sins that have us heavy laden, to enter into the needle gate, the narrow way, instead of the wide gate. All right, so, and the gates of it shall not be shut all by day, for there shall be no night there, and they shall bring the glory and honor of the nations into it, man. So the ships of Tarshish shall wait for thee, man. There's gonna be ships and everything waiting. The same way they bring it to countries, they're gonna bring it to your house. Be waiting on your docks, you know? And they're gonna be waiting there. And there shall in no wise enter into it anything that defileth, man. So you can't just walk into the kingdom. It ain't gonna be a place where they can just go like Cheers, where everybody know their name. Nope. Neither whatsoever worketh abomination or maketh a lie. And he said Esau is the father of lies, right? So they're not gonna be able to enter into the kingdom at all. Vocab. But they which are written in the Lamb's book of life. So who is that? Not 2/3 of our people, but it's gonna be who? The elect. They're the ones that's gonna enter into his rest. And then the 2/3 are gonna have their right to the kingdom as well, because of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. So I wanted to end it there, man, but this goes into that whole third temple that they're talking about building. Well, the Lord said the third temple was going to be built without hands. And that same way Solomon built the temple, preparing the stones outside of the land and then bringing them into the land and putting them in their place. The same way we're being built up outside of the land, going to be gathered up by Solomon, Yahweh Shai, and taken into that land and put in our place. All right, but we're being built up a spiritual house. All right, with that, I'm going to say shalom.